everybody. Welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. Today's topic is coping with toxic siblings. Coping with toxic siblings. Before we get started, I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to all of the new viewers, all of the new subscribers, and welcome to you who have been with me from the beginning. I really appreciate you. Now, those of you who are new to the channel, I will answer your relationship questions. So at the end of the video, I'll show you a link where you can send in your questions, and I will either answer them privately through the email, or I will share them online with the collective, and it can be your decision. Now, those of you who are interested in these caps, they are available in my online store, and you'll find the link in the description. Now it's time for today's affirmation, and we do these affirmations to help with your spiritual growth. And here it is. I say yes to opportunity and abundance. I say yes to opportunity and abundance. I attract prosperity with ease. I constantly receive incredible gifts from life. I say yes to opportunity and abundance. Let this affirmation sink deep into your spirit and be a blessing to you today. Now it's time for movement, and we do the movements just to get our blood circulating. Now today's movement, we're just gonna do an arm stretch today. And what we'll do is take our arm like this and just stretch it out. All right, very easy, just stretch it out. Let's do it for 5 times. All right, you ready? Let's go, come on. 1, 2, stretch it. 3, you can do it. 4, yes, and one more, 5. All right, now let's do the other side. Let's go. 1, that's right. 2, you can do it. 3, yeah. 4, keep it up. And 5. All right, shake it out. Shake it out. It's important that you move your body just a little every day. Now let's dive into this message. Coping with toxic siblings. I did pull a video, and we have a letter. Let's watch the video. We're going to read the letter and talk about this issue. Okay, here we go.
10 signs of a toxic sibling. Number 1, they need to be the center of attention. Number 2, they always feel entitled. Number 3, they lack empathy and dismiss your feelings and opinions. Number 4, they always contradict or correct you and take no interest in your life. Number 5, when you take a break from them, you feel relieved. Number 6, they are often cruel to you and take joy in your pain. Number 7, they are not interested in you and your life, and they reach out to you whenever they need something.
You met siblings that hate each other.
Yeah, I know best friends.
I don't understand that. Like me.
A lot of y'all don't know that sibling trauma is real. You would be surprised at how some of us be getting into physical altercations with our siblings. Not all of us grew up in them homes where all the siblings is loving and caring and shit like that. Nah. Y'all really don't understand how siblings can be very, very cruel and mean, bro. And me being the youngest of the 6 kids, nigga, I have stories for days.
If you have narcissistic siblings, you don't need enemies. You were born with enemies. With narcissistic siblings, your life will be plagued with idolized, devalued, discard, and smear campaigns throughout your entire life. The only way to set yourself free from the cycle of dysfunction is to go no contact. That's when you set yourself free and you begin to heal and thrive. Good luck.
Now let's read this letter and see what she says. About a month ago, I learned my sister, who I hadn't spoken to or associated with for years, is sick. She had a stroke and then brain surgery, and it turns out that she has stage 4 breast cancer. I visited her in the hospital, and she cried and was very happy to see me and apologized and let me know how much she missed me. While this sounds nice, and I know she does miss me, I don't buy it. I visited her a second time at her home a few weeks after, and I said to myself, she has not changed a bit. My sister was always a trouble starter, a liar, a storyteller, a backstabber. She's one of those crazy people that are fun to be around, but only for a short period of time, because drama will eventually start. I had reached a point years ago where I decided to walk away. She was too toxic, and I was done allowing her to treat me any old kind of way. I was at peace with that decision, and my life got much better once I did. I know it did. When you move away from toxic people, your life can immediately change for the better. While it was pleasant to see her, I didn't feel anything. I've been on my spiritual journey, and I've grown and have gotten control of my emotions. And I'm no longer the girl that would run to her bedside every week out of sympathy for her, out of obligation. I'm not cold, but there's no genuine desire to have a relationship with her. I wish her healing. I wish her peace. But I understand that that's her reality, not mine to suffer. You got that right. You got that right. And it's wonderful that you can separate this, because a lot of people can't. You see, they feel obligated to be in that pain with a toxic sibling. But you've grown past that because you're on your spiritual journey. And this will happen to you people. When you get on your spiritual journey, you'll have a new perspective about things that happen in your life. Someone asked me if she were to pass, would I have any guilt? And my honest answer is no, because I was very good to her our whole lives. I'm 39 and she's 44. I never betrayed her or treated her anything less than a sister I loved. I do text her maybe every other week, but I don't have it in me to do anything beyond. You're doing it out of the kindness of your heart, not out of obligation. If you feel guilt or obligation, don't do it. Don't do it. Right? Now, you and your sister don't get along. You know, in families, this happens. When I was growing up, in my family, of course, now my family was toxic. The parents were toxic. And so it was always rivalry between us siblings. Always. It comes from the parents. The parents keep that going on. If they're toxic, they'll turn the siblings against each other. The home is dysfunctional. Nobody is really happy, you see. And even in my family, I really didn't get closer to my siblings until I was grown and out of the home. You see, during my growing up years, I was the scapegoat. My father was the narcissist. My mother was the enabler of the narcissist. The siblings did not like each other. I mean, we would fight each other. That's no good. But that happens in a dysfunctional house, especially if a narcissist is present. because the narcissist is demonic. It's a demonic energy. So, of course, it's going to be chaos in the family. That's what the narcissist wants. Everywhere the narcissist goes, it's going to be chaos because it's an evil demonic spirit. You see? So this causes the siblings to grow up not liking each other, just fighting. It comes from the parents. And a lot of us don't understand that. Now, if you were, wherever you were raised, whoever the parental figures were, that's where you got it from. If you are fighting with your siblings and you don't like your siblings, and this happens that you were little, it's from your parental figures who set that in motion. It wasn't a loving atmosphere that you grew up in. It was dysfunctional, people. Understand this, because this will help you in your own healing. When you understand where you came from, what happened, why are things the way that they are, why me and my sisters and my brothers don't get along and never got along. From children. It came from the parental figures with that evil energy setting right on the children growing up in. Now for you, you love your sibling, but you can't be around your sibling if they're toxic. Not for long periods of time. I know even for me, during the time when I was growing up, I would be around my siblings short spurts of time, not long periods, because it would turn out into a fight or something. No, but short periods of time. You see, and whenever you felt things getting out of hand, then I would leave. No, from your letter, you've done the right thing because you are making yourself a priority. And you should always make yourself a priority, which means that you have no obligation, like you said in the letter, to make your sister happy. No. Your sister should be able to find her own happiness. Now, apparently, what it looks like that she didn't find much of it during her life, but she's only 44. She can turn her life around if she decides to. Nobody can change it for her. She'll have to decide that. But for you, continue on your spiritual path. Don't allow anybody to deviate you from that. If being with your sister makes your energy change, kind of on the negative side, then don't be around your sister. You did the right thing to move away. If you grew up in a dysfunctional household, 9 times out of 10, the siblings were not loving, didn't grow up loving. In a dysfunctional household, children don't see love, they don't receive love, so they don't know love. But they do know dysfunction. They do know about fighting amongst themselves. They know that because they've learned that in the low vibrational environment growing up. They learned that. All low vibrational activity. And this happens in a toxic, dysfunctional household. Everything is low vibrational. So the children, they don't grow up loving. They grow up in low vibrational, which is fighting, hating, betraying, gossiping, and destroying each other. Being jealous of each other. That's low vibration. That's what happens in a dysfunctional household. And this is why siblings don't get along. Now, on the flip side of that, if you were raised in a loving household, then you know what love looks like. The children know what love looks like. Your parents love you and care for you, give you support. The children know how to love each other, give each other support. You see, it's taught in a loving household. It comes from the parents. So people, realize that this toxicity can turn around if you decide to change. If you were raised in a household like this and you decide to change and get on your spiritual path, then your household can be a loving household with your children. Your children will be different. Your children can grow up loving each other because the household, the environment is loving. That's the difference. These things don't just happen. Many of these issues are generational curses. Your family has been dysfunctional for generations. But you can change that. You have the power to change that. If this is the kind of activity in your family, you can change it so that when you have your family, there's no negativity. You're in a higher frequency. But to do that, you have to jump on your spiritual path. And for those of you who don't know how to do that, in the description, there's a link that says how to start your spiritual awakening. You need to look at that video, and underneath that video, there's another link of All Things Spiritual 777. That is a sister site that will help you with your meditations. There are guided meditations on there, frequencies that you can listen to that will help to raise your vibration. See, this changes your life. When you raise your vibrations in life out of low toxicity, your life changes for the better. And this is what you want. So understand what is really going on in your families with your siblings. If they are toxic and you are looking for a better life for yourself, start your spiritual awakening. It will change it. It will change it for the better. And you will be surprised at the miracles that will come into your life by just raising your vibration. See, when you're on your spiritual path, the demonic energies are constantly trying to bring you back into the low vibrations. See, it's all energy, people. Think about it. It's energy. These energies are constantly trying to bring you back down into the low vibrations. So that's where the guilt comes from. The feeling of an obligation comes from. It's those low vibrations that are trying to bring you back down. You see? But you're doing the right thing. Ignore that. Don't feel guilt. I believe, if your siblings need help and they are toxic, and if you are in the position to help them in any way, send them help. That don't mean you have to be with them. And it doesn't mean that you have to be around them to care for them. It's very difficult for you to stay on your spiritual path if you are surrounded in toxicity. So you have to remove yourself from it. You did the right thing. You have to remove yourself from it. It's no way in the world that you can stay on your spiritual path when you're dealing with toxic people constantly. It's hard to do. It's like, crabs in a bucket. You're constantly trying to get out of the bucket, but these crabs are constantly trying to pull you back down. Be aware of that. If you have toxic siblings and you try to improve your life, so you're stepping out of that toxicity on your spiritual path, all right? They're not going to understand you at all because you're going to be on a different frequency, one thing. That's why they're not going to understand, a different frequency than they are. But they will constantly try to draw you back down. But you're on a different frequency, a higher frequency. You want to continue to progress higher and higher and higher. And you can't do that if you're bombarded with toxic people. Now, I know you want to be around your siblings. Everybody does. Why wouldn't you? Unless they are abusive, then, you don't want to be around them. They're your people, but they're toxic. If you want to improve your life out of toxicity, you have to remove yourself from them. You can't be around them as much. You can communicate. I'm not saying cut them off completely. But what I'm saying is that don't be in that toxicity too much. You can't involve yourself with a toxic person on a regular basis because it will influence you. If you're in a toxic environment too much, that energy will stick to you. Before you know it, you'll be toxic because you will be reacting to the negative things that the others are doing. Before you know it, you'll be back in a low vibration. You see, this is how they get you back. They say things that trigger you. Before you know it, now you're angry, you're feeling some sort of way. You're not in your happy place anymore. You see, you're not in your happy place. And that's the point. You always want to be in your happy, in your positive place. And on your spiritual path, that's where you'll be. So you have to guard yourself from any toxic people, even if they are your siblings. You have to guard yourself from that. And love yourself. Hopefully, maybe one day, one of your siblings see the light in you and want that light for themselves. And they may come to you and say, what are you doing? I want to be happy too. And then you'll be able to tell them about, your spiritual journey and how you've changed your life. But if that never happens, you love yourself first. Make yourself a priority. Always. Love your siblings. But many times if they're toxic, you have to love them from afar. You just don't be with them all the time. Love them from afar. Send them good wishes. Send them positive thinking. Send them love from afar. Protect yourself. Love yourself. And stay on your spiritual path. I hope that you understand the message today. And I really hope that it helps. Those of you who have questions that you would like for me to answer, here is the link. Send your questions to Miss Faye's World, YT, @hotmail.com. That's Miss Faye's World, YT, @hotmail.com. And try to keep your letters to one page. Just summarize your situation and ask the question. And if you prefer that I answer your question privately through the email, just put it at the very top of your letter, and I will comply. I want to thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you for your comments and your letters, and a special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best. And I really hope to see you next time.